Welcome to our Southwest Desert channel, where today we dive into a pivotal moment in American Southwest history. We're taking you back to May 10th, 1869, to a seemingly unremarkable spot in the Utah desert, about 50 miles northwest of Ogden. On this day, a small group of dignitaries gathered to enact a ceremony that would mark the beginning of a new era of progress for the western United States. This is the story of the completion of the first Transcontinental Railroad. Picture this. It's a bright spring day in the Utah desert. The air is filled with anticipation as 4 special trains arrive, carrying numerous railroad officials and other dignitaries from both the east and west. The atmosphere is festive, with 4 companies of the 21st Infantry and 2 brass bands present to lend a proper air of importance to the occasion. Over 1,500 people have made the trek to this relatively isolated spot, braving the journey of 50 miles north and west from Ogden, or almost 90 miles from Salt Lake City, to witness a truly historic moment. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest tale. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert adventures, hit the subscribe button. The last 50-foot stretch of the roadbed has just been prepared by Chinese coolies, members of the Central Pacific Work Crews. These hard-working men have played a crucial role in the construction of this monumental project, facing numerous challenges and conflicts along the way. As the crowd gathers, the air is thick with excitement. At the center of attention are 2 men, Leland Stanford, President of Central Pacific and Governor of California, and Thomas C. Durant, Union Pacific Vice President. In their hands is a silver-headed spike maul, and before them lies a golden spike, a symbol of the monumental achievement about to be realized. Stanford steps up first, ready to drive the golden spike into place. The crowd holds its breath as he swings the maul, but in a surprising turn of events, he misses. The blow lands squarely in the middle of a rail, and the golden spike doesn't even quiver. Perhaps it was the telegraph wires dangling from the silver head of the mallet that threw off his aim, or maybe it was intentional. After all, a hole had been pre-bored in the tie to receive the spike, and the slightest tap would have driven it home. Not to be outdone, Durant takes his turn. He too swings and misses, almost certainly on purpose. The maul then makes its way through the hands of various dignitaries, each taking their turn to complete the driving of the $400 gold spike into place. As the final tap is made, a hush falls over the crowd. W.N. Schilling, a telegraph operator from Ogden, steps forward. With steady hands, he taps out a message that will be heard across the nation. The last rail is laid. The last spike is driven. The Pacific Railroad is completed. The joint of junction is 1,086 miles west of the Missouri River and 690 east of Sacramento. This simple ceremony marked the culmination of an era of railroad building unmatched in American history. With the driving of that golden spike, the nation had been bound together by bands of steel. It's hard to overstate the importance of this moment. Probably no other event did more to solidify the states than this union of the rails. To fully appreciate the significance, we need to understand the context. The United States had just emerged from the devastating Civil War, a conflict that had torn the nation apart. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad was more than just a feat of engineering. It was a powerful symbol of reunification, a physical link binding East and West. As the ceremony concludes, 2 engines, Central Pacific's Jupiter and Union Pacific's 119-inch, toward each other over the new track. It's a moment of high drama as their cowcatchers meet, symbolizing the joining of the 2 great railroad companies. In a fitting celebration, bottles of champagne are broken over the engines, and the bubbly wine flows down over the golden spike and the last tie. The crews then take turns running their respective trains over the new section, a practical test of the newly joined tracks. The air is filled with cheers, the sound of the brass bands, and the hiss of steam from the locomotives. It's a moment of triumph, the realization of a dream that had seemed impossible just a few years before. But the story of the Transcontinental Railroad is about more than just this one day. It's a tale of ambition, conflict, and perseverance that spans years and thousands of miles. The journey to this moment began in 1862, when President Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railroad Act. This act authorized the Central Pacific and Union Pacific Railroads to build a single line from Omaha to Sacramento. It was an audacious plan requiring the railroad to cross vast prairies, scorching deserts, and the formidable Sierra Nevada mountains. The construction was a race against time and each other. The Central Pacific started in Sacramento and built eastward, while the Union Pacific started at the Missouri River and built westward. The two companies surveyed parallel lines, with the Central Pacific extending its grade through Ogden and up into Weber Canyon, while the Union Pacific was working well into Nevada. This competitive approach led to significant friction between the two companies. The Railroad Acts had stated that the two companies were to build toward each other until they met, but nothing in the law specified where they had to meet. This ambiguity led to parallel construction and numerous conflicts between the Union Pacific's Irish workers and the Central Pacific's Chinese laborers. The tension between the two companies grew so severe that Congress was eventually forced to intervene, naming Promontory as the official meeting point and setting May 10, 1869, as the date for the joining of the rails. The construction of the railroad was a monumental task, fraught with challenges. The Union Pacific faced hostile Native American tribes, harsh weather conditions, and the difficulty of supplying materials across vast distances. The Central Pacific, on the other hand, had to contend with the Sierra Nevada mountains, requiring extensive tunneling and the construction of numerous bridges. Both companies relied heavily on immigrant labor. The Central Pacific employed thousands of Chinese workers, who proved to be tireless and skillful laborers. These men faced discrimination and dangerous working conditions, but played a crucial role in the completion of the railroad. The Union Pacific, meanwhile, relied largely on Irish immigrants, many of whom were Civil War veterans. The work was backbreaking and dangerous. Workers used nitroglycerin to blast through solid rock, risking their lives with every explosion. They laid tracks across scorching deserts and freezing mountain passes, battling extreme weather and harsh terrain. Many lost their lives in the pursuit of this grand vision. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad had a profound impact on the United States. It dramatically reduced the time and cost of traveling across the country. What had once been a dangerous journey of several months by wagon train could now be accomplished in a matter of days. This new connectivity spurred economic growth and westward expansion. It opened up new markets for goods produced in the East and facilitated the settlement of the West. Towns and cities sprang up along the railroad, transforming the landscape of the American West. The railroad also played a crucial role in the industrialization of the United States. It allowed for the efficient transportation of raw materials and finished goods, fueling the growth of American industry. It standardized time zones across the country, a necessity for coordinating train schedules, which had far-reaching effects on American society. Despite its historic significance, Promontory's glory was relatively short-lived. The location of the junction, while symbolically important, proved to be less than ideal for efficient rail transport. The steep incline of the Promontory Range, requiring a climb of 90 feet to the mile, and the winding road built to negotiate this ascent became a serious handicap to rapid transportation on a large scale. By the turn of the century, this section of the road had become a bottleneck on the Transcontinental line. In response, The Lucen Cutoff was planned and constructed. Completed in 1903 and put into regular use in 1904, this new line went west from Ogden and straight across the north arms of Great Salt Lake to Lucen. The cutoff shortened the route by nearly 44 miles and reduced travel time between Ogden and Sacramento by 7 hours. While trains continued to run over the old Promontory line for many years after the completion of the cutoff, it gradually fell into disuse. The roadbed was allowed to deteriorate, and in 1942, in the midst of World War II, the old rails were torn up and sold as scrap metal. By the 1940s, Promontory stood as a ghost town, a silent witness to the momentous events of the past. A fine monument marked the spot where the union of the rails took place, though sadly, it had been marred by vandals who had used it as a rifle target. A few half-rotted ties and badly rusted spikes, possibly dating back to 1869, lied scattered about, mute testaments to the historic event that took place. Only 2 or 3 broken-down buildings remained to mark the spot of the once bustling railroad junction town. If we stand there today, looking out over the quiet Utah desert, it's hard to imagine the bustle and excitement of that day in May 1869. The driving of the Golden Spike at Promontory was more than just the completion of a railroad. It was a defining moment in American history, a symbol of national unity and progress. Though Promontory itself may now be little more than a ghost town, the legacy of what happened there lives on. Every time we board a train, every time we see goods transported across vast distances, we are experiencing the echoes of that momentous achievement. As we remember the driving of the Golden Spike, let us also remember the thousands of workers, Chinese, Irish, and others, who labored and sacrificed to make this dream a reality. Their story is an integral part of the American story, a reminder of the diverse forces that have shaped our nation. The Transcontinental Railroad may be a thing of the past, but its impact continues to resonate through American life. It remains a powerful symbol of what we can achieve when we work together towards a common goal, bridging divides and connecting communities. As we face the challenges of our own time, perhaps we can draw inspiration from this remarkable feat of 19th century engineering and cooperation. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Until next time, keep exploring the rich tapestry of American Southwest history. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert romps, hit the subscribe button. Happy trails!